Hey, this is Tony here with Salt Strong, and in this video we're going to do a bit of tackle talk. I've seen a few questions come in as to what people should bring with them when they go out on a trip, depending on what type of fishing they are doing. So I want to show you how I like to organize my tackles, so hopefully this can help you out when you are planning your trip and trying to decide what to bring with you. So for starters, I like to use small tackle boxes. These are the Plano 3640, I believe is the size of these. As you can see, they're about the size of both my hands there, just for size reference, but they are nice and small. You can easily put these in a backpack or a tackle box and you're good to go. And I usually have 3 of these. As you can see here, I have 3 boxes. 2 of them have artificial items in them. They have hooks and jigs, and then another one I have all my hard baits in. And then this last one here, this is more for if I'm fishing with live bait or fishing around piers, jetties, or anything like that, and I will talk about that here in a minute. And then I have these waterproof cases here. These are actually for liquid baits such as Gulp or fish bites. That way you can keep them nice and moist and fresh in these boxes. And I'll usually have 2 of these, and you can mix Gulp baits and you can put them all into one if you needed to, just to save on space. Now the next thing that I like to have with me is a gallon Ziplock bag. These are great for putting your bags of soft plastics into. You can put 3 or 4, maybe 5 bags in there. Again, you don't want to overcrowd it. You don't want to bring too much stuff with you. Only bring what you need. And another good thing about these bags is that you can put your leader line into these if you need to. You can see I can just drop those in the bag, keeps it all in one spot, nice and compact, and you can throw that in your backpack or your tackle bag as well. Now lastly are your tools and your leader line. You always want to have some type of cutting device and some type of pliers with you, and if you can find a combo of the two, these are some Danco pliers. They have the pliers and then they also have that cutting device on there, so you have all of it in one, and you can just put this on your belt. You don't have to put it in your tackle bag. You can keep it on you the whole time and it's out of the way. So definitely have a pair of pliers and a cutting device, or a combination of the two. And we also have these scissors that we actually sell on our shop page. They are actually split ring pliers, and they're normal pliers, and they are also scissors that will cut your braid. So if you're interested in those, you can definitely pick those up on our shop page. And as far as the leader line goes, depending on the type of fishing that you're doing, that's obviously going to vary in leader sizes. However, what I found is that I like to use these small spools of Berkley Vanish. I like them because they're nice and small and compact compared to these very large spools of, let's say, Seagar or anything like that. So definitely go with these smaller spools because they're just easier to carry around, and they minimize the amount of space you take up when you do store them in your tackle box or in your tackle bag. So now let's dig into what I like to bring based on the type of fishing that I'm doing. So as you saw here, I have these 3 boxes, and then I have these containers over here, then I have my leader line, and then I have this bag of soft plastics here. So if I'm going on a trip and I'm mainly just fishing artificial lures, I'm not fishing live bait, I'm fishing out on the flats, I will take these 2 boxes with me. This first box here, I'll go ahead and show you what I have. I have basically just hooks and jig heads, terminal tackle, in this one box. So I have some jig heads here. I have some split shots that range from very small ones to a little bit bigger, just in case I am fishing a little bit deeper. I want to get my lure down. And then I have some swim bait hooks, owner twist lock hooks, and then I will also bring with me some circle hooks, some live bait hooks, anything from a number 2 up to a 5/0. Just in case the fish are not having the artificial game for the day, I like to have those live bait hooks with me, because if I am fishing out on the flats, you don't need a lot of gear with you. You could just have a circle hook, maybe a little bit of a split shot on there just to keep your bait down, and you can catch some pinfish, you can catch some fresh mullet, live mullet if you bring a cast net with you, and that way you can switch from artificials to live bait without having to bring a whole different box with you, having different hooks and weights and everything like that. So that was the terminal tackle box that I use for artificials, and then I will also bring a box just dedicated to hard baits. I'll have an assortment of hard baits here. You can see I have a few topwater lures. I also have a few suspending twitch baits. I honestly don't use a lot of hard baits, so this box is just sort of there just in case. I mostly use topwaters, so I can almost even just grab a couple of these topwaters and put them in my terminal tackle box and only bring one box with me on a trip. Now the next item that I do pack when I'm fishing artificial is obviously my containers for Gulp baits. I usually have Gulp jerk shads in one box, and then I have Gulp shrimp in another box. And you can mix colors and you can mix baits. You can put all your jerk shads and shrimp in one container if you wanted to with various colors, and you won't have any issues. They don't bleed onto each other. So if you want to minimize even more, you can just bring one of these and you are good to go. Next up for a trip with artificials is the gallon size Ziplock baggie here. I will put whatever soft plastics that I want to use for the day or might think about using for the day in here, and also my leader material. Now your leader material will vary based on the species you're going after. If I'm just mainly targeting trout and redfish, I will stick with a 20-pound leader. So I'll just bring one spool of that. That's all I need. Nice small Berkeley Vanish spool there, and I can just throw it into the Ziplock bag and I'm good to go. And if I'm a little weary, I might get into some snook, and then I'll just throw that 30-pound in there. Again, nice small spool of leader and you are good to go. So again, just to quickly recap what I like to bring with me on my artificial trips. Again, my two main boxes, terminal tackle and hooks, weights, jig heads, everything like that in one box, hard baits in another box. And again, if I don't plan on using a bunch of hard baits, maybe just topwaters, I'll just grab a few of those out of this box and throw them into one box with my terminal tackle. And also don't forget your tools, pliers, cutting device, your leader material, again, based on the species you're going after. Typically we'll bring 20-pound and 30-pound with me. And then the gallon Ziploc bag with my soft plastics in it. And then again, I can always throw my leader material in there as well. Then once you have everything good to go, you can throw it all in a tackle bag or a backpack. Or I like to also use a cooler or a dry box to put some of this stuff into. Now lastly, let's go ahead and talk about what I would bring with me if I was out at a pier or fishing in a jetty, inlet, anything like that, or even surf fishing. You really only need a few items, and I only bring one box with me, as you can see here, same size as the boxes that I use for artificials. It's that Plano 3640 series, and it's the waterproof one that has the seal around it. And I'll pretty much only bring an assortment of weights, everything from egg sinkers to bank sinkers, and then also pyramid sinkers, just depending on the type of structure you may be fishing or the type of rig you may be rigging up. Then I will have an assortment of swivels. Always want to have some swivels with you. And then an assortment of various sizes and styles of hooks. I will have J hooks. I will also have circle hooks. And then I'll also have different sizes, everything from 2/0 up to possibly even a 7 or an 8/0. Again, that will depend on the type of species you may be going after, so just keep that in mind. Also, I may have different size swivels in there. Doesn't hurt to have that. Maybe some snap swivels, just in case you are fishing in the surf and you need to quickly change rigs or anything like that. So I really minimize what I bring here all into this one small box. And as far as leader material goes, I like to bring various sizes. Again, anything from 20-pound up to 50, maybe even 60-pound. And it's very wise to be able to know how to tie your own rigs instead of going out and purchasing a bunch of pre-made rigs with cable and steel on there. They're just unnecessary unless you're going after those toothy critters. But having different sizes of leaders available and being able to tie your own rigs is going to save you a lot of space if you are trying to minimize what you bring with you. So you can easily tie your own rigs using your leader material, the weights you bring, the swivels you bring, and the hooks that you bring. And of course, you always want to make sure you have your cutting tools and your pliers with you. So that will wrap up this video to help you simplify what you are bringing out there with you on the water, whether you're fishing inshore, artificial, or fishing off the beaches, piers, inlets, jetties. You can really simplify what you bring. That way you're not fumbling around and just bringing too much stuff with you. You really don't need a lot. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.
Hey there, I'm Joe Simon.
And I'm Luke Simon.
And we are the Salt Strong Brothers. Real quick, 2 things we need your help. Number 1, my brother Luke here has really low self-esteem. And so it would mean the world to him and really boost his confidence if you would just subscribe to our channel. Not only will we make him feel better, which is awesome, but you will never miss out on one of our amazing new tips.
All right, so number 2, if you're not catching as many inshore saltwater fish per trip as you feel you deserve based on how much time and money you've put into fishing, then check out our Insider Fishing Club. It gives real-time trends that are actionable trends to make sure that you're maximizing your time in the feeding zones and minimizing your time in the dead zones.
And even if you don't have time to fish as much as you want, you'll still save hundreds of dollars on our discounts alone. Click down below now or go to saltstrong.com to learn more.
There's something about the water that'll give you peace, all by yourself or with your family. Live salt strong and wear the line today.